welcome everyone to episode 24 of Around the Book. This week, I think it's going to be pretty easy to tell what we're going to be betting on. It's obviously going to be the Super Bowl. It's what the sports world's talking about this week. And we probably have 40 plus props that we're going to give you guys tonight. There's a ton of them all over the board, so we don't have just one team getting all of them. So I hope you guys have a lot of money saved up if you want to follow all these, but there is going to be a lot of them. But I do have the flu right now, so this could be my Jordan flu game, depending on how my bets go this weekend, depending on what happens. So we'll see. I'm not going to call it the Jordan flu game yet, but I don't know. Maybe next week we'll have a different story. But before we get into that, obviously we have a fifth person in the group today. We have Shane. He's back. Shane, what? It was like week 8 or so. It was
a while back. Yeah,
it was a while back.
Yeah,
and he crushed. He's back, and I'm excited to see what he has to say. Possibly, depending on what his bets are.
Yeah.
So
left in the dark for now. So
yeah. I don't know what he's betting. But before we do get into that, I just want to promote a show that Shane's been doing with Around the Book, or Around the Block, called Around the Draft. That's going to be premiering on February 18th as of right now. I know Jake, Dalton, JT, myself, we've all been in the group where he's been talking about it. Shane, correct me if I'm wrong. Jake?
You, Jake, and Dalton are all part of it as of right now.
Yeah.
You guys will. Jake is going to be one of the main co-hosts on it for me, as well as Felix. Of course, you guys all familiar with Felix in the chat as well, or in the group. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to do a scouting podcast for a couple of years, but just haven't had the time to commit to it. But I decided I was going to watch as many players as possible this year, so I figured might as well do a podcast about it. Right? It's kind of all I already do anyway. So.
Exactly, and obviously once the Super Bowl ends, it's draft time. Who has the number one draft right now? It's Bears. So they'll be on the clock at 11:30 on Sunday. 11:30 Eastern on Sunday. The Bears are on the clock.
Yeah.
So possibly, unless someone trades up.
Just to be clear, it is draft time for all of us here except for you. You're the only one.
Yes. It's been draft time for like 4 weeks now.
It's been a while.
So. True.
Yeah.
It'll be draft time for me at that point.
Jake and I have been watching quarterback film.
For a while. Yeah, for a while.
Every year around late November we start.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I hope that you guys can experience this here soon. I know that. I mean, the Raiders are building something nice out there. The coaching staff.
I hope so.
Yeah. So I mean. Steelers
quarterback though.
Yeah, true. The Steelers, I don't know. I mean,
me either, man.
I don't know. I couldn't really think of too much to say about that one, but
I didn't think I'd see the day where I'm in a group of 5 and Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in the group.
I was about to say JT is somehow
respect Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah,
the corpse of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I will not respect Jimmy Garoppolo.
What's he gonna do this year or this season? Is he gone?
Oh, they're gonna cut him.
Yeah, they can get out of the deal now. I think, right? So,
I think he's still.
They'll
designate him a post June 1st cut, and then they'll save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And then he'll just go and be a backup somewhere for the next 5 years.
Most predictable, not good signing.
Yeah.
I've ever seen. Like, it's just like, all right, man. Like,
but I mean, I guess that's what you get for playing around like that. I don't know what they were thinking, like you said, but who knows? Aiden O'Connell, he's the truth now. He's the future of Las Vegas.
26-year-old Aiden O'Connell or something like that.
You guys believe in AOC?
I mean, he's a good bridge guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, I don't know. It's hard.
The thing I respect about him is that he just throws it. Like it doesn't matter. Like he's firing in that thing. And does it work a lot of the time? Not really, but I respect it. Like you guys play that way, it cracks me up.
He really just reminds me a lot of Derek Carr. So it just kind of feels like, the same. It's very similar to the same
quarterback play that we've had.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's probably where his ceiling could end up being, that caliber at best. But I mean, I don't know. As far as draft stuff goes, though, he was my QB6 last year, and I feel like he's playing right around there.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
He had some really good moments last year.
He did, especially for how everything was going last year. I mean, I think he was one of the bright spots there. And I mean, it's not much more you can ask for. But before we get too much into drafting and how next year's going to go, let's
save that for.
Yeah, we'll save that for around the draft, and then once next season starts to roll around. But let's get into the last game of the year for the NFL. Obviously, you know who I'm going for, if you can't tell. But I'm scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm nervous. It's the Chiefs, and I hate being this type of guy, but it just seems to go their way a lot. So that's what scares me. They have a great coaching staff. Patrick Mahomes is unreal. Travis Kelce's unreal. They always seem to have an X factor in these games that they just know how to overcome anything, which is scary. So I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, but I'm also excited. I also have a lot of faith in our guys. I think this could be a very good game. I think it could be one for the century. I know a lot of people aren't happy that this is the outcome of the Super Bowl this year. Everyone obviously wanted Baltimore and Detroit after the championship games. So I understand that. But as a fan of one of the teams, I'm really excited. I'm excited to see what our bets are. Would anyone like to start us off with our bets? Dalton, do you want to disappoint me early?
So sure.
All right.
A lot of definitely lean in one way. So before kickoff, though, we got the coin toss. That'll be my first bet of the evening. I got heads plus 100. I actually just read something. Most coins, actually, the head side of most coins does have like slightly more surface area, so heads will show up like slightly above 50% for what it's worth. But the pick is more based in superstition than anything else.
Here's the thing, though.
I love the analysis.
Here's the thing. Tails never fails, though. So what do you say about that?
That's right.
So
It's not heads never fails.
Tails fails.
No, I got it. Yeah.
But yeah, and then for the game itself, as far as the result goes, I'm taking Chiefs money line at plus 105, and I'm taking the under at minus 110 at under 47.5. And I got those parlayed together at plus 266. I think it's going to really be. I think the Chiefs are going to get into the mid 20s. Like I think this is going to be like a 24-17 type game. I think their defense really is the difference. The way I look at it, if it comes down to the Chiefs offense, I trust Mahomes to go and get one more score. If it comes down to the 49ers having the ball, I don't trust Brock Purdy against this Chiefs defense the way they're playing. That's just kind of really what it comes down to for me. As far as props go, I have Mahomes at exactly 3 touchdowns. And I got that one at
3?
Exactly 3 at plus 370.
Ooh.
3 pass touchdowns. And I got Mahomes, which if that happens and they win, Mahomes MVP at plus 125 should be free money. And then I have 2 DraftKings specials. They're under the Swifties category on DraftKings because they're Taylor Swift puns. So I've got You Belong with Rasheed, which is Travis Kelce or Rasheed Rice to get a first half touchdown at plus 120. So if either Kelce or Rasheed Rice score in the first half, that hits. And then my other one for that was Today Was a Fairy Tale, which is Kelce touchdown and Chiefs win plus 240. And that's anytime touchdown for that one.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I got. A lot of Taylor Swift themed props, but generally all Chiefs. I just
I know,
everything
I know.
tells me this is going to be a Chiefs win.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it.
I know. I think that's what everyone's thinking right now. And I will say to your under, I was reading something. I can't remember the head ref's name of this game, but someone, obviously there's stat nerds out there. If you bet the under with this guy's the head ref on every game he's been the head ref in the past like 2 seasons, if you bet the under, he has generated the most profit on betting the under with him.
Love it. Didn't
So
know
I
that.
mean, I know. I saw it and I was like, well, now you have to bet the under on this one. So yeah, I get those picks. Yeah, it hurts to hear them, but I understand. I guess I'll go because I have to defend my boys. I guess.
Yeah, now you gotta try.
I gotta
get
defend
back
my
out a little
boys.
bit,
Yeah. So obviously, I did the Super Bowl MVP last week of Fred Warner plus 1,800 or plus 18,000. Sorry. Now the reason I did this, and this is just like a crazy, like in my mind. I did a correct score prediction for this game as well. I did Niners 27, Chiefs 13 at plus 14,000. Now I know everyone has the Chiefs. Everyone thinks the Chiefs are going to win. I just want to hold faith that I think the Niners could look fairly dominant in this game. That's just like the best case scenario in my head. So I'm going to go Niners 27, Chiefs 13. If the Niners defense can hold the Chiefs to 13 points, I think a defensive player has a great chance of getting the MVP. I couldn't think of a better guy to get that MVP than Fred Warner. I mean, he's a baller day in and day out. My next one, and this one I'm going to put a pretty decent amount of money on, and I love this play, and it's the Juwan Jennings parlay. His yardage this Sunday is set at 14.5 yards. He can get that in one catch usually with him because usually they throw to him on 3rd and 10. He's 3 or 4 yards past the first down line, and his receptions are at 1.5. He gets 3 or 4 targets a game, and I don't want to jinx anything, but knock on wood, he's got some pretty great hands, and he comes up clutch. This is a Super Bowl. There's going to be plenty of moments where there's going to be some big plays, even early in the game. So I think they'll go to him a lot more than they have. So over 14.5 and over 1.5 receptions, I'm going to parlay that. It's at plus 119. So it's not a huge payout, but I'm going to put a decent – I guess it'll be my biggest bet this Sunday, I think. And I'm going to stick with that. I didn't have a money line or a if I was going to do the Chiefs points or the Niners points. So I decided I'm going to go Niners minus 2.5. I wish I would have got them at 1.5 earlier last week. Obviously, the number keeps creeping up. I'm just kind of shocked by it. But minus 2.5 Niners at minus 105. There was an octopus last year, so I'm going to do an octopus again this year at plus 980.
Clarify what that is, because I didn't know what that was.
Yeah. So octopus is when the player who scores the touchdown also scores the 2-point on the same drive. I forget who it was last year.
Last year it was I know because I hit it. It was Travis Kelce last year.
Was it Kelce? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I remember that.
So
he caught the touchdown pass and the 2-point conversion after.
Yeah. So it's a plus 980. If you just want to throw a few bucks on that, go ahead. It's a cool thing to bet on. My next one I really like is player to have the most air yards reception. And I'm going with Valdez-Scantling on this because I feel like Pat always throws him a ball that's 55 yards down the field. And it's a 75% chance he's going to drop it, but a 25% chance he's going to catch it. So I'm going to go with that. That's at plus 980 as well. I think that's pretty good odds for something like that. And then first team to convert a first down, I'm going to go Chiefs minus 110. If the Niners win the toss, they love to go on defense. So I think the Chiefs will get that. Both teams to score or to convert a 4th down. I said yes on that. That's at plus 290. I mean, teams are going to be taking risk. And then my last one is the team with the first TD pass. I'm going to go with the Niners at plus 100. Now, Niners heavy, and I had to do it to defend my Niners against Dalton and his Chiefs love. But, yeah, that's what I'm going with. I know it was a lot, but we're going to have a lot more, so trust me with that. So who wants to go next and give out their craziness of the Sunday?
I'll go. I've got 3 bets going this weekend.
Okay.
And 2 of them are plus 86,000.
Oh
And my more
gosh.
conservative one is plus 75,000.
Okay.
Because, that's what makes it fun to me.
JT and I must have gone to the same betting school because
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for this one, but that's the type of stuff I create. I once created, I think I mentioned it on the show last time I was here. I created like a 15 game parlay or something like that. And I
Yeah.
got like 11 of them and I was so mad because I was like,
Yeah.
really? Like, come on now. But yeah, go ahead, JT.
Chance to retire.
Well, similar line of thinking, because one of my bets is a 10-leg parlay.
Yeah.
So, one, I've got San Francisco to cover the 2.5. I just think they're the better team. I don't trust Kansas City's pass catchers. I'm going San Francisco. But if I did trust a Kansas City pass catcher, it'd be Travis Kelce. So I'm going Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. I'm going over 91.5 rushing yards for Christian McCaffrey because there's only like 5 teams in football that allowed more yards per carry than the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, he's going to do Patrick Mahomes things. I'm getting the over 1.5 touchdown passes. I'm taking the first half under 23.5. I could see it being like 7-10 or 13-7, something like that. I don't think it'll be super high scoring the whole game. Casey, I'm getting in on your Juwan Jennings love. I'm going anytime touchdown scorer because I needed someone to boost up those odds. And then 2 Kansas City pass catchers who I think are going to do more damage than people are expecting. One is Justin Watson. I've got the over 16.5 receiving yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling over 20.5 receiving yards because the receivers on this team are so bad. So someone's got to catch some passes for something. It's Patrick Mahomes. They're throwing it. Last 2, Brock Purdy over 12.5 rushing yards. And the total for the 49ers under 24.5. So that is my 10-leg parlay.
And what you said that's at plus what?
86,336.
Yeah.
So I would recommend for anyone listening, take 4 or 5 of these and take the ones you like and make your own parlay. Don't do 10 legs. That's just crazy talk.
Do
That's
10 legs.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
I love it because it's fun and my unit is like a nickel, so it's all good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 second, JT. When you said Juwan Jennings boosting your parlay, go ahead and add Kyle Juszczyk anytime touchdown. I'm going to take that as well.
Well, let me roll right into my next parlay,
Okay.
which is my anytime touchdown parlay.
There you go.
This is a conservative one. This is just 4.
Okay.
So
But it's going to be probably 4 of the craziest names you've ever
Yeah.
heard. All right. Here we go.
So I am going to keep Juwan Jennings because he was plus 700.
Right.
I did have Kyle Juszczyk in that because you got to get that fullback love. I stuck with Justin Watson.
Okay.
I think he's going to be one of the more reliable targets for the Chiefs. And I'm going Chiefs defense anytime touchdown scorer because Brock Purdy stinks.
Man.
And then that kind of leads into my last one, which was MVP. Last week, I gave Trent McDuffie as a plus 60,000 MVP. And I thought to myself, no, that's too conservative. We got to up the odds here. So I'm doubling down. I'm taking 2 defensive MVP bets, Trent McDuffie, and now I'm adding Mike Edwards plus 75,000. It's all about taking the ball away, get a defensive touchdown in a low-scoring game. That could be MVP right there.
Yeah.
It's true.
All they have to do is make one play.
That's
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Maybe you get a late interception to seal the game. I mean, what do you think the odds were on Dexter Jackson winning MVP in
Malcolm Smith.
2002? Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it happens, and
It happens.
someone gets paid a lot. So I want that someone to be me.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Before we get on to our next one, sorry, we kind of blew over this. We are live betting on this podcast right now. If we want to just take a quick break, go over our live bets right now. I'll start. I have Providence plus 2.5 because they were only down by 2 at halftime against Creighton. Providence is actually up by 1. They're up 49-48 with 14 minutes and 51 seconds left in the second half.
All right, there you go.
Jake,
I took with 11 minutes left in the second half in a 2-point game. I took Murray State money line against Belmont, and they're currently losing 60-58 with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. So
all right. So we're still on that. And Dalton, what'd you have?
So I got the quad box going behind me on YouTube, or behind the camera here on YouTube TV with 4 games. I got Creighton minus 2.5. I got that around the same time you did, Casey. At minus 120. That's not looking great right now, but they still got a shot. And then I have 3 games that I got kind of early on in the first half. They're now moving into the second. They're now right around halftime. But I got Georgia, Mississippi State over 127.5 at minus 110. Right now, the total is at 64 at halftime. So that's not looking too bad right now. And then I have Duke Notre Dame over 127.5 at minus 115. That total's a little lower at halftime at 58. So that one, there's some work to do there.
Yeah.
But I could see that being one where Duke starts to pull away in the second half. And then finally, I have Nebraska against Northwestern. Nebraska plus 13.5 at minus 120. Just about halftime right now. They're down 15, so they're hovering right around that spread. So still got a lot of time for a lot of those to play out.
You just live to fade me, dude. Put in my Providence pick. You go with Creighton.
I thought you said you took Creighton minus 2.5.
No, it's a Providence plus 2.5.
Oh,
I love the conflict.
No, he's saying.
I think I've gotten burned by Providence last couple times I've done this, so I didn't want to bet them.
Of course you got burned. They're the Friars.
Yeah.
That was lame.
That one took me.
Bad jokes for days. You don't even know.
That one took me a second.
JT, Shane, you guys got any live bets right now?
I've got one that's about to start. I'm getting in on this Pistons Kings game. I've got Jaden Ivey over 16.5 points. De'Aaron Fox over 30 points because everyone has their best game when they play the Pistons.
This is true.
Domantas Sabonis over 13, or no, he's under 13.5 rebounds because Jalen Duren can actually rebound.
That's true.
And the Pistons covering the 13.5 point spread.
Fair enough.
I think the Pistons will probably cover. The Kings are pretty. Whenever the Kings play a bad team, they play just as bad as the team.
I'll be honest, I liked that 13.5 point spread bet before Cade Cunningham was rolled out last minute.
Yeah,
That was
I think it'll be close.
I hope so. I mean, Jaden Ivey, when he's got the ball in his hands, he's dynamic. So, let him shine.
Yeah, I know that when you guys said about live bets, now I obviously am not a regular member of this, but I did look to see if there's anything I would be interested in. I did find, and I believe, and I'd have to go back and look if I'd be able to, but with about like 12 or so minutes left, so Southern Illinois and Drake. At Southern Illinois was plus 9.5. I was going to take that. They are now only down by 2 currently with about 3 minutes left. So
Yeah. I like
would have worked out for me.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, Dalton, I don't know about that great game. I thought it was going to be close, but Providence was holding on right now.
Oh, God. Yeah, well, yeah, it's looking great for you, Casey.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. There's still a lot of time left, and Creighton's a great team this year, so we'll see. never just have that up. But let's continue on with our page where we still have Shane and Jake to go. Shane, you have the last question?
Just you're trailing off for me, Casey.
What-
Can't
what'd you
really
say?
hear
For a second.
Oh, sorry. We have Jake and Shane left still. Shane, let's keep you for last because I just want to stay in suspense to see what you have to say.
you.
If
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. So Jake, let's hear what you have to go with. I know you always got my back on this podcast, so we'll see.
I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
We'll see. I kind of do, but
Yeah, you kind of do.
All right.
we got a 1-point game with 1 minute left in my live bet, so I'm gonna check in on that. I don't have too many bets for the Super Bowl this week. Like Dalton, I am taking the Chiefs money line at plus 105, just because it's plus odds on the Chiefs in the playoffs. I feel like that's too hard to pass up, and I've passed it up when they played the Bills and the Ravens, and I got burned twice. So it's not happening anymore. I've got to put a stop to this. So we're taking the Chiefs money line, and I'm actually taking the over 47.5 at minus 110. I think both of these teams have won, besides the Chiefs and Ravens game, these teams have won high scoring playoff games up to this point. Both of their defenses are impressive, but I see both of these offenses putting up a lot of points. And it's not, the line isn't too high. A score of like 28-21 or 27-21 would still cover. So I don't think this will be too tough.
Yeah.
And I am betting the Chiefs, but for an MVP bet that I really like, I do like Christian McCaffrey. I got him at plus 450 on Bovada, so I'm not sure what it is on the other ones. It might be a little different because Bovada's lines are kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I'm the same.
I think the Chiefs win this game, but it's going to be close, and I'm not counting the Niners out at all. I think if they win, McCaffrey's probably going to be the MVP. If they win, he's going to score 1 or 2 or more touchdowns. He's going to get the ball a lot. So I think he's probably their best chance at MVP. And at plus 450, I feel like it's pretty good value. And then I'm betting tails on the coin toss. Shane said it earlier, tails never fails. That's my only analysis on that one. And then my last bet, I'm taking the national anthem time length over 1 minute and 28 seconds at minus 110 odds.
I like that.
That time of 1 minute and 28 seconds, every singer since 1998 has gone over that time. And the singer for this year's national anthem, she sung it at the World Series like 20 years ago, and she hit 126. But I actually listened to it. I felt like she went kind of quick, and I think at the Super Bowl, it's kind of a spotlight moment, and she's going to be trying to show out. So
Love the analysis of the national anthem on the podcast.
Yeah.
yeah, I did watch her. I think it's the 1997 World Series.
Studying film, you love it.
But yeah,
You put
So
that
that's
in
about-
YouTube soon, Jake, so.
Why do they have someone from the 1997 World Series doing the anthem? That seems bizarre.
I haven't
Yeah,
seen who it is, so I don't know if
it's
they're.
Reba McEntire.
Oh, Reba McEntire. Oh, okay.
Reba.
Okay. Reba.
Yeah,
all
then
right.
she's yeah, that take the over on that for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, she's gonna milk it for sure.
All
Yeah,
right. So
that was all my bets for.
Yeah. I like those. I'm not trying to cut you off, but we did have a comment come in from Kid Kai asking any opinions on Lil Mahomey and Purdy rushing and passing yards. I know a few of us or JT at least had a bet or part of his parlay, I think, with Purdy rushing yards.
What? Over 12.5, right?
Over
Yeah,
12
over 12 and a half. I do like that, especially if he can pull off the same performance as the NFC Championship game. Mahomes, I think he said
I think he's 33 and a half.
Okay, yeah, 33 and a half. I think that'll hit. I mean, he just runs around like crazy. He runs around like a toddler.
He'll skedaddle every so often.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Bosa versus Donovan Smith. He's going to be running.
Yeah, so we'll see. Now, if you're talking about their like passing and rushing together, I know DraftKings says Purdy at 266 and a half, and Mahomes at 292 and a half. Okay, total, I would smash over on both of those, honestly, and not feel
Just so you know, Case, I think anytime you back up a little bit, your audio gets bad. I think that's what it is.
okay, my bad.
Just letting you know.
Yep, no, I appreciate that. So, like I said, Purdy's at 266.5 with his passing and rushing together, and Mahomes is at 292.5 with his passing and rushing together. I would feel very comfortable taking both overs on those, even parlaying them if you're able to. I think they'll both throw for. I could see both of them throwing for 250 plus, and then the rushing will just be what it comes down to. But I think I would feel comfortable taking the over on both of those. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I don't know how I feel either.
I think I would take. The problem is, I think it depends on who if you're betting around and trying to like formulate bets together that all have a chance of hitting kind of. If you think the Niners win, I would bet the under on Purdy because that probably means that they were able to dominate the run game and they didn't have to ask him to do too much. If you think that they lose and he has to try to bring them back, then I think the over for his passing and rushing make a lot of sense. And with Mahomes, I think it kind of doesn't matter that much. I think they're going to throw the ball around a good bit, so his over is probably the safest bet for the combined. Plus, you never know if he has a big run or something at some point to help boost that up a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But
I feel like Mahomes is good for like 1 or 2 carries for 7 to 15 yards a game.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what he does.
Yeah. Well, let's go. Let's do this. We'll do like a little around the horn style. We did that a few weeks ago. JT suggested it. If you had to choose either one of the two to go over on their rushing and passing together, who would you guys choose? Personally, I'm not trying to say this as like a homer or just because I'm a fan. I would take Purdy just because 266. I think he'll pass for a majority of his yards, and I think Purdy can have over 266 passing yards in this game, and even if they don't win, I still think he can put up the yards. So I don't think he'll have to rush a bunch. But out of the two, I would probably take Purdy's line. So that's who I like.
I'd probably take Purdy too.
Yeah. Dalton?
I think I'll go Mahomes. Just because I think Mahomes is going to have a big day passing.
Yeah. JT?
I'd go Mahomes just because the Chiefs secondary is so good. And, like Shane said, Niners are going to be running it more than throwing it, I think.
Yeah. Shane?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm going off my bets, I am kind of tempted to pick Purdy because, I'll
is that a hint into what's going to happen?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll do that. But I'll still say Mahomes is probably the safer bet, like I said. So
Okay. And then we have Kid Kai again. Pacheco or McCaffrey rushing yards. If Kyle Shanahan can get out of his own way and actually play to the team's strengths, McCaffrey should easily have his over on rushing yards. And Pacheco, if the Niners play anything like they did in that first half against Detroit on defense, Pacheco's also going to have a field day because he is a hard rusher and he will break through any attempt at an arm tackle. All last week and this week, the Niners have been putting out press clips of them talking about the defensive game against Detroit and how embarrassing that was, and they said they're going to fix it. So we'll see if that's the case. But you can't really take them at their word. You have to see how the game's going to go. I like the over on McCaffrey. I think Shanahan's hopefully smart enough to see that he needs to run it. And if you just let McCaffrey run for 4 or 5 times a drive, he's going to get his yards easily. So I like McCaffrey over rushing yards.
I think I'd want to try to package total yards for him if you can, just because I think that number, because I think he could end up having a couple big passing plays, and then the rushing yards might not matter as much if they get into that type of game, or maybe he can't just be expected to carry the ball that many times a drive. But Yeah, I think both of them are probably good. If you're going to pick
Yeah.
one or the other, I'd probably go over just because defenses have trouble with the run game, especially. So
The Pacheco one, I think, is
Pacheco's
really
at
hard.
60.
67 and a
Yeah,
half.
his line's at 67 and a half. Yeah, that
And
I know it
That's
doesn't
like
seem
right
like a
about where I
lot,
think
but
he'll be. I think he'll be flirting with that 70 number, and I don't think he'll quite get there. I think 67 is a really good number for him.
yeah, that's yeah.
So I wouldn't touch him one way or the other.
yeah, I think he's going to float around 40, and then he's going to bust out a big one, and he's going to be close to hitting his line. I just don't know. I think
Casey,
McCaffrey
you know this better than you, but
breaking up.
the 49ers runs is pretty strong, like up the middle. It's the outside runs that gash the 49ers, isn't it?
Yeah, it is because well, when we picked up season, I think that solidified a lot of the interior, along with if Eric Armstead can stay healthy. I know he was having a little bit of an issue and he was a limited participant, but he's going to be full go. If Hargrave and Armstead can healthy, I mean, the inside's not going to be a worry. If I was the Chiefs, I would run it at Chase Young. I mean, with his effort he gave last in the NFC Championship game, I mean, I would just say, hey, Pacheco, run it right at Chase Young. So
But that goes back to
That's
the
what
Chiefs
scares
tackles
me.
being bad. It's hard to run outside when you got bad tackles on both sides.
yeah, that's true. So yeah, the outside run defense is what scares me a little bit from the D line. I think Bosa's having a great playoffs right now, but Chase Young is killing us.
The thing with the Niners too is like their run defense was good in terms of total yards given up, but yards per carry. I think they were bottom 5 in the regular season. Like they just didn't get run on because it's hard to run on a team that's constantly scoring like 30 plus points on you, and you have to try to throw the ball. So it's one of those misleading type of stats, the surface numbers, and don't look at like the yards per carry allowed and stuff like that. But it's definitely the outside that you have to worry about with Young just not being a good run defender right now for them at all.
Yeah.
All right, another one from Kid Kai. This one, Jake, I'm going to let you take over on this one. Will Taylor Swift play halftime next year? The NFL knows she brings in more eyes to the game. I know since you have you have the national anthem, but
Yeah,
do we
I'm the
think
singing
Taylor Swift's
expert
going to play
on the show.
halftime? Yeah.
I think she. I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw something saying that she turned it down before in the past or something.
I think she has. Yeah, personally.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. Just because, like, I think a lot of artists could use Super Bowl as like a spotlight moment to show yourself off a little bit, but I don't really think she has to. And if she already turned it down, that just makes me think. But I don't know.
I read somewhere they don't
person
make money off of it.
They don't pay
Yeah.
the
No,
artists.
artists don't.
No, it's just
Yeah, like I think they.
Yeah,
no, they
I
make
think
no money.
they actually have to pay to be, or they at least used to. I might like whoever did it had to like pay for like a lot of the show.
I didn't know that.
So like they like
Yeah,
lose
I
contracts, think.
yeah,
I
don't
mean,
think
even
she
if the
will.
NFL
I
did pay, I don't think before Taylor Swift.
yeah.
Taylor
That's the
Swift is
thing.
like
It's
one
like
of those
there's
few things that's bigger
no
than Super
real
Bowl.
benefit to it. Yeah, for her.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's what I was going to say, Shane. Like she doesn't need it. I think I don't think
Like
a lot of the
Usher?
artists don't
Maybe.
necessarily need it. Yeah,
might need
I mean
it.
they don't need it, but
I don't
also
know.
they want the world to know that like they're still there. I
Doing
guess.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
Actually,
Usher's
let
hosting
me
it
ask-
this year.
I'm gonna do a guest pick real quick. I'm gonna ask my wife and see what she says. She's in the next room. Hold on, Rachel. Do you think Taylor Swift will play the halftime next year? She said no. So there
Yeah,
you go.
she's
Kid
right.
Cox is
I
not
think-
going
I
to.
think
Yep,
that's a
there
smart,
it
I
was.
think that's a smart choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a no on that. But if she does, put on your tinfoil hats. Put
Mhm.
every cent you have on the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl next year if she does
For
get
sure.
announced. So
Who should I bet on if the Foo Fighters are playing the halftime show next year?
Um,
That's what I want.
where's Grohl from? Is he from Detroit?
No, I don't think so.
I don't
think-
know
But-
who they're a fan of, but I guess whoever that would be.
Well, Dave Grohl was a member of Nirvana,
Yeah,
Seattle-based band.
right. Okay.
So
Don't tell me the Seahawks, man. I
Maybe.
can't take that.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
They wrote him off. He didn't write back.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think Taylor Swift will play halftime next year. I just don't think there's really, like we said, there's no upside for her. It's mainly upside
Right.
for everyone else.
That's kind of the thing. Is like when you're
Yeah.
trying to pick, like, if you're trying to predict who the halftime show is going to be, it's somebody who you probably know, but maybe haven't thought about for some time.
yeah.
That's exactly like that's kind of make a list of like 10 people that fit that category. Probably going to be one of those people. So
People
Like-
that hit their prime about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
or maybe they just think it's cool and want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like that and I don't think she's in that category at least right now. I think she's happy just to be at the games, and
Yeah.
people complain about her already, so she probably doesn't want to add to it at this point.
No. She'll do it like 10, 15 years from now, and it'll be nostalgia for all of us when we have
Yes.
kids.
Remember when Travis?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like, she was the biggest superstar on earth, and people were like, okay, no, it's this guy now, or
Yeah,
this
it's
girl
like-
now.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
1 second before we get into Shane's picks. Creighton right now, Dalton, not looking too bad. Coming back a little
No,
bit.
but right now I'm still losing because they need to cover 2.5.
I know, but it was looking really bad about 5 minutes
Yeah.
into the game time.
Yeah. I
So-
think you're gonna be all right. There's
We'll
no
see.
scenario where we both lose on this, at least. So there's that.
True.
It's not like that
yeah.
Notre Dame Ohio State game
Yeah.
all over again. That was brutal.
Yeah, that was bad. Another kid, Kai. How do you think Kittle will perform this year with vengeance? Yeah, I mean, I keep watching a video of him from the Super Bowl in 2019 against the Chiefs when when the clock was ticking down in the fourth quarter, when he was on the sideline saying that he would be back, this would not hurt her, he won't let this get him down. George Kittle is probably one of my favorite players to ever play football, no matter who he played for. He's just a great guy, plays hard, funny as hell. I think he'll have a big game, but I don't think it'll be stats-wise. I think he's going to have a huge game blocking like he always does. It's going to be all the little stuff that no one thinks is sexy on a football field, like scoring touchdowns or having a ton of rushing or having a ton of passing, pass completions or a ton of receiving yards. I think he's going to do a lot of blocking. I think he will have a few big plays where he'll have like 20 or so yards of yak because, I mean, dude just loves to stiff arm guys and keep running. So I think he'll have a big game. He just might not have the best stats, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think
can
it's
see
tough because, like, looking at the Chiefs' defense, their corners are really the strength of the passing defense. So it would make sense that if someone's going to have a big game, Kittle
Yeah.
would have the path of least resistance on this defense. But really, their passing defense in general is really tough. And I know that they're going to key in on Kittle on certain plays and certain downs. So I don't know if I feel great about any particular Niners receiver having a huge day. I think that they will all have to be involved to get the passing game going because of the strength of the Chiefs defense. But I still kind of feel like the guy that makes the most sense if you're betting on would be Debo, because the fact a lot of it is just him after the catch, just breaking tackles. Like if he could just get the ball in his hands, it doesn't have to be down the field or doesn't have to be winning his routes. You can get him the ball quickly and he can do stuff. So, but Kittle, you never know with him. Sometimes he just has those weird, like 3 touchdown games, and you're like, all right, cool, good for you.
Yeah. The only problem I see with Kittle this game against a defense like Kansas City is that you're not going to know who's covering Kittle
Right.
until after the snap every time, the way Spagnuolo disguises blitzes so much,
Yep.
especially with the safeties and linebackers. You don't know which ones are going to come each time. So that's going to make it really tricky to find Kittle. I think that's going to be kind of an issue because I think there's going to be times where Purdy is going to look to Kittle as a safety blanket.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden somebody he thinks is coming is going to drop into coverage.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because Reed could obviously get him a lot, and
Yeah.
you could see Bolton trying to man him up occasionally, and he has the athleticism at least to do it. Like that's a good point too, for sure. Trying to switch that up with him.
Yeah. So Shane, we've been waiting for it all episode. Let's hear your picks. I'm excited for this because obviously we don't know what he picked and he killed it the last time. So
yeah, we'll see if I can do it again. But
yeah, so we'll see if he can do it again. Even if it's against the Niners, I'm still excited for it because Shane, obviously, like I said, he killed it for us last time. So Shane, without further ado, let's hear what you got this Sunday.
I got some ones that are kind of not surprising, and some other ones I think would be definitely a big surprise to people, but I think it could be possible. So I do have Chiefs money line, Casey. I'm sorry, I do have Chiefs at plus 110. I got on FanDuel. I use FanDuel for my stuff, so these are all going to be from FanDuel here. I do have the under though, 47.5. I had that at minus 110. I think that was the same as the guys who took the under. FanDuel has a special quarterbacks to rush for 50 combined yards. I took that as well. For sure, I do think that both quarterbacks will have to use their legs a little bit, especially Mahomes with the tackle situation. I think JT pointed that out earlier about how not a great matchup for really most teams aren't a great matchup for the tackles of Chiefs right now, but they make it work because Mahomes will just skedaddle away and everyone's like, wait, why has no one hit him? And he just runs off the sideline for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Take the combined 50 rushing yards. I think that was plus 150, so not too high odds, but it was pretty good. This is where things get a little bit specific and interesting for me. So how I see this game playing out, I actually think that the Chiefs, because of the fact that they are in a situation where they aren't as just well-rounded of a team as the Niners, right? We kind of know this. They have the best quarterback, obviously. The defense is playing phenomenally, so you definitely could say the Chiefs' defense is a little bit ahead of the Niners, at least in certain areas especially. But I think they want to try to control the game a little bit more than they have in the past because the weapons aren't as trustworthy as they've been in the past, right? And they have done good in the postseason so far. There hasn't been many issues with the weapons. We've seen them be able to take care of business with it. But I still see a scenario here where you could find a lot of rushing attempts for their running back, specifically Pacheco. So I actually have Pacheco at MVP plus 3,000. I can see him vulturing a couple touchdowns as they get down to the red zone, handing the ball off, trying to protect the football a little bit. That would definitely be something I could see happening. And as part of that, I have him to score 2 touchdowns as well, plus 500. So that's kind of the path I see. He might not have, 150 yards or anything crazy, but I think he gets involved in passing game a little bit. He gets his 2 touchdowns down the goal line, and that might be enough in a game that I don't think is going to be very high scoring, where, if Mahomes doesn't have 2 or 3 touchdowns, right, might not win MVP even if they win. So that's kind of my thought process with that. And then I also have tails for the coin toss. So, Dalton, you're getting beat up there a little bit. So, hopefully, tails never fails, as I said before, Jake. So, let's see if we can get that one.
Yes,
and then I did do a correct score as well. I do like to do this. I specifically have 24-20 Chiefs at plus 12,000. I think that's kind of the type of game we'll get where Chiefs can get a lead late, and then Brock Purdy has to try to go pass on, drop back and pass on the best pass defense remaining in the playoffs, of course, than just the Chiefs. And I do not see that going his way ultimately. So, Sorry, Casey.
All good. I said I wasn't going to be hurt, but I am a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But how this is going to work out, I'm going to let you guys know. It is going to be heads because Dalton, even though he gets the grain, he hits. So I'm not even going to be – it's going to be heads. So I'm going to have to go with that. I'm going to bet heads. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I get it for sure. But I got to go – I always go tails.
Yep.
Usually it doesn't fail me, so we'll see if it fails me this time.
Tails never fails.
That's the idea.
That was our super – I don't even know how many props we had. Probably like
a lot.
35, 40, yeah.
If you want to bet, if you just watch this, you'll get a lot of ideas. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't say take all of them because then you're just going to be contradicting yourself. But obviously, there's a lot to pick and choose from. Dalton Creighton is trying to get back in this one right now. Man.
It's not great.
Sorry. So, yeah, I mean, that's what the Super Bowl. I know that's what a lot of people want to talk or want to hear about. I know that we did have some other bets in different sports this week, a few golf. So, if anyone has any other bets outside of the Super Bowl, let's go ahead and hear those now.
I have one golf bet this week.
Let's
I'm
hear
going
it.
to go with Wyndham Clark, which is the ultimate golf name, to win
Yes.
the Phoenix Open at plus 2,500.
Wonder where he stays
Um,
whenever he has to go travel.
He won last week at Pebble Beach. It was shortened because of the major storms for California this weekend, but he played like incredible on Saturday. Came out with the win at plus 2,500. I mean, it feels like just pretty good odds here. He's been playing really well to start the year, and he's, compared to how he played last weekend, I would say he's on fire right now.
Yeah.
And you have to look decently far down the list to find him for the outright winners, but at 2,500, I like the value.
Yeah. I'm skipping on golf this week because I've been terrible the past 2
Yeah.
weeks. So I'm going to give it a break.
All I have to say about those who bet on golf, you're braver than me. Let me put it
Yeah.
that way.
So I also have some golf picks. But speaking of Pebble Beach, that was a brutal way for that to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they?
Playing the fourth round?
Yeah.
My picks all looked pretty solid. I had Cantlay outright, plus a few of my top 10 picks looked solid after Friday. And then Saturday didn't go great, but I still had some guys in the mix. And then they just called it after Saturday, and it was brutal.
Yeah. Well, the weather in California this past weekend was pretty.
Yeah.
For California standards, it was pretty crazy. But
I did hear about that actually.
I know it was like 60 to 70 mile an hour winds across most of the state. So I think that's probably the reason, because it wasn't raining like crazy hard. I think it was just too windy or something. But I don't really know how golf works with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's weird.
hard to hit the golf ball though, and 60 mile an hour wind. Just
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna flip it out there. Let's see where the wind takes me. Let's see what happens.
So did they even?
Yeah.
Did they
sorry.
even try to play that last round on Monday?
No.
They originally delayed it, and then they just called
They're
it.
like, no.
You're
On
like,
Sunday,
yeah,
or-
pass. We quit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the weather probably just wasn't supposed to like change. or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, they didn't want to.
Luckily, we're in a nice, dry Arizona this week. Very calm weather, very predictable tournament. We have the People's Tournament, the Waste Management Open, known for very hectic galleries. Basically, like the Waste Management Open is known for like people going there just to party.
Yeah,
In the
it's a
gallery.
big party.
Well, that's
It's
they know. Like
hilarious.
if they get a little too rowdy, someone's gonna clean it up.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about
Yeah.
it too much. But
And so the same guys tend to do pretty
I got
well
you
there.
on that one, Shane. I got you on that one. I liked
Yeah.
it.
yeah, I
Waste
knew
management.
it.
I liked it.
You knew
It
it.
took me a second, but I got you.
Yeah, I think I missed that.
Yeah, it wasn't good, so it's fine.
So I got Scotty Scheffler. Has won it the last 2 years, going for the three-peat. I don't like him to win outright at plus 500. I don't think it's enough to pick him, even though I do think he's probably the favorite in this. I have him at top 5 at plus 130. Justin Thomas, then I have at top 10 at plus 130 as well. Thomas has played really great golf as of late, and he's looked better and better at this tournament the last couple of years. And then another guy who's won this tournament before, looked really good in the past at this tournament. however, isn't playing great right now. I have Hideki Matsuyama to finish top 20 at plus 175. I think he'll find his groove at this tournament. He plays it really well. And if you parlay those 3 picks together, you can get it at plus 1354. That's what I got it at. So pretty decent odds there for 3 picks that, like, I don't think you need anything crazy to happen for those to hit. So that's what I got for golf this weekend.
I know you put in our private chat, you might have a little political bet for us.
Yes.
The
I
first
saw that,
one-
and I was like,
I like to
first
have
one
one
here of the
outside
year.
the box pick each week. Last week, hey, I made you guys some money last week. If you went with me on the Denny Hamlin Bushlight
You did,
Clash
yeah.
of
That's
Coliseum pick, that hit for plus 1100. That was fun, by the way. If anyone watched that race, it was a blast. But this week, I have really outside the box Finnish politics. This is what we're going with. So Finland is having their presidential election right now. They had the first round back on January 28th.
there's
Now
rounds to
they
this?
have no candidate reached 50%. So they're having what's called
The
a runoff.
playoffs.
yeah.
The runoff. Okay, so the runoff.
A lot of countries most countries have several candidates. It's not just
If-
dominated
if-
by like a two-party
If only,
system.
folks. If only.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're down to 2 candidates now. You have this very pro-Europe guy, is kind of the front runner, Alexander Stubb. He's very
excellent
pro-European
name.
Union. However, I'm taking the other guy at plus 800, Pekka Haavisto.
Oh, great.
2
Great
A's in
name.
there at plus 800 on Bet Online. Is where I found this. The reasoning here, though, there's actually a lot of reasoning behind this. So,
Oh boy.
the guy who finished third was a very anti-European involvement candidate, which in Europe is a really big deal because these countries are all members of the European Union,
Europe, yeah.
and people do not want to be. To be fair, like I do have a minor in international studies, so like I actually have.
We have an
I was-
expert here, folks.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at him. He's like, no, listen, dude.
No,
I'm sorry.
You know what you're talking about? It's just like we were talking about the Super Bowl like 10 minutes ago, and then
It's
you
like-
said something about like
about Finland.
pro-European involvement.
I was just thinking if
Anyways,
someone
I'm
just
gonna make
tuned
this
in
really
right
quick
now,
before
they
I
wouldn't
lose
even know what the
anybody
hell
else.
this podcast is about.
So, how much countries stay involved in the European Union is like a big factor in
Makes
a lot
sense.
of the politics of European countries. And the guy that finished third was very anti-Europe, and he had a lot of support from young people. So I think him being out, I think they're going to lean towards Haavisto as a protest vote. Because he is the less mainstream candidate. He would also be Finland's first openly gay president. So I think there is a lot of reason for a protest vote there. Also, as far as the money goes, the late money has been on the mainstream candidate Stubb, but a lot of the early sharp money was on Haavisto, for what that's worth. So there is some logic and reasoning into this, but yeah, the election's February 11th, so there's some time to get that pick
their
in.
Super Bowl.
But
Yeah.
yeah, their Super Bowl, yeah. But yeah, plus 800. I like the odds on it. It's something fun.
I'm gonna
But
be
yeah,
now
that's
watching to
that's
see
my
who is
weird
the president
bet
of
of the
Finland now. It's gonna now I have to look. Now I
Yeah.
have
I'll
to pay
have
attention.
to- yeah.
I don't know when it happens on the 11th, but if it's remotely the same time, like if it's even sort of the same, I'm gonna be like, wonder what
Yeah.
Finland's up to right now. Let me check.
Here's the sad thing though. To bet, I had to make an account with Bet Online.
Yeah,
And like the minimum, and because I know I'm gonna forget about this money, The minimum
Yeah.
deposit was 25, and I'm just putting it all on this bet. I'm either gonna make a ton of money,
Or
I'm either
nothing.
gonna be up $400,
Or you're
I'm
making a
gonna put
donation.
this account.
Yeah, you just made a donation to no
Bet
one.
online.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
And that was Democracy with Dalton
There you go.
in the podcast.
You see, the
I
thing
could-
about Europe is
Yeah.
Bet 25 to win $200. Placing the
Yeah.
bet right now as we
pretty
speak.
good. That's pretty
That's
good.
hilarious.
Also, Providence and Creighton tied at 78 with 1 second left. I just saw this.
Buzzer
Yeah.
beater time.
Is it 1 second or 2 seconds? I know they called the timeout.
1.7.
Oh, did they try to do a play and they called another timeout?
I don't know. I
Uh,
just looked up.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, man, that episode took a quick turn. I mean, for the better. I mean, that was awesome. So,
Southern Illinois, by the way, did finish just 4. They lost in overtime, so I would have hit for me as well.
oh,
There you go.
Out there.
Jake, did you hit?
I get.
No.
No.
I was hoping somebody didn't ask. All right, they were down by 1 with like 15 seconds left. They get fouled, shooting free throws, they miss them both.
Nice. Classic.
Not even close either, like full on back of the rim.
Okay.
Typical college.
They
basketball.
foul. Belmont makes both their free throws. And then they somehow, with like 8 seconds left, they get 2 like wide open looks at 3 to tie it. And then 1 clanked off the rim, and the last one was airballed. So lost by 3.
What do college shooters do? They miss.
Yeah, exactly.
Their last 4 with the 2 free throws and the 2 threes, their last 4 shots in that game were horrible. Like not one of them looked for a second like it was going.
Free throws in
Well.
college basketball are the equivalent to like 30-yard field goals in college football.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, what do college shooters and college kickers? Venn diagram is just the box. It's just
Yeah.
a circle.
They
They
miss.
miss. They miss.
Yeah.
It's
They're
just what
bad.
happens. It's just what happens.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going into overtime, Dalton.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I thought for a second he was hitting that buzzer
What,
beater.
that full court or that
Yeah.
3/4 court? Did he get off
It
the
was
time?
dead on.
Yeah,
Nothing more electric than a 3/4 court heave that
Yeah.
almost goes in.
with like, it would have been questionable too if it was in time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Nothing more electric than that.
All right. Well, I guess I'll finish the overtime off the podcast because I had a little bit of time with the flu and it is kicking my ass after this past hour. So, Shane, we appreciate you coming on, man. Anytime. It's always electric when you come on, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, I learned so much about European politics.
Yeah. Who would have thought? You
I
learn
need
something
to-
new every
I need to
day.
come on here just so I can tell stuff to my friends later.
Yeah.
Mini lessons.
You see, so the Finnish government is built in such a way.
Right, like I'm gonna call my friend tomorrow and be like, "Hey, I don't know if you heard about this election
Yeah.
going on in Finland.
This
but
dude hates the EU.
this guy literally hates himself. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like he hates everyone.
Yeah.
No.
You'll never believe what's going on in Finland.
Yeah. Trust me. Don't watch the Super Bowl. Turn on the
Watch the Finnish election.
Yeah.
There's a stream of it somewhere. Someone's
Yeah.
talking about it. It's probably got subtitles. It's fine. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. That's good. All right.
CNN Finland has the map.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch it with
But-
subtitles.
Yeah, seriously.
But we once again we do appreciate coming on, Shane. Everyone, please watch their new show coming out on February 18th around the
Yes.
draft. We'll definitely be tuning in. Jake and Dalton will be making appearances, so definitely check in on that. Especially if you're wanting to know who your team's going to be possibly looking into next season. If you're needing a quarterback, a staple wide receiver, a guy on defense that's going to be a dog for you, they'll break down every team. I'm assuming you guys are going to do every team, like the biggest needs and the biggest
It'll
draft
get talked
guys.
about over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have not a ton of time until the draft, but there'll be a couple months, and they'll definitely hit on a lot of topics that you might have questions on. So definitely tune in. Shane, do you have anything else you want to add on that?
No, I mean, I also do our NFL show that's on
Yes.
Saturdays, of course. We'll keep that going throughout the offseason. And I will say, especially Zach, if you tuned in at all, if you saw the show, I know he's excited that he doesn't have to do as much draft conversation because it's not his forte. It's not something he follows that much unless it's Virginia Tech, which unluckily for him means not much the last couple of years. So yeah, he's glad that he won't be doing as much draft stuff with us for that.
Yeah.
But we do have a preview show that should be coming out some point Saturday. We're going live. I know that we have to switch up our time a little bit, but normally 11:30 in the morning Saturdays. That's usually what we do.
Definitely tune into that. I try to retweet that every time I see it pop up. So definitely stay on the lookout for that. Kid Kai, we appreciate you coming in and commenting and giving us some questions to look at. Hopefully we're able to answer them for you, and good luck on the bets this weekend. And Shane, also, I mean, go ahead and go over your other podcasts you do. We don't want you just plugging this stuff for ATB. Let's hear what else you do.
Yeah, so I do the Still Curtain show. It's STILL, by the way. It's just make sure everybody understands. I do the podcast for them. It's a fan-sided site. I also write for them as well. Recently started as well, something I'm doing is writing for College Wire's Penn State College Wire site too. So if you're a fan of Penn State, you'll catch some stuff from me there. Especially doing a lot of NFL draft stuff since they always have a couple freaks and they no change there for this year.
Yeah. So all you Yinzers,
Plug in
definitely
draft.
plug into Shane. I mean that respectfully when I say Yinzers. Is that a bad?
Yeah.
If
No,
you're not from the area, is it bad to say that?
If it's a descriptor, no, you're good.
Yeah.
It's more so if you're using it as in a bad way, they'll get you for that one.
So yeah, definitely tune into that. I know next Wednesday is Valentine's Day, so just a quick heads up to anyone watching this that may have forgot. We have your back.
Smart.
We might be. We're probably going to reschedule a different day next week. I haven't decided yet, and possibly just because the NFL is going to be over. Wednesdays might not make as much sense for us, so we'll definitely look at that ourselves off the podcast. But we'll keep you guys updated, and thank you guys for tuning in this week. Good luck on all your Super Bowl bets. Go Niners. That's all I got to say. And see you guys next week. Like I said, we'll let you guys know when we decide to go live. And thank you all for watching.